About to net this. No, not on Netflix. I'm playing Tetris with a checklist. Playing goldfish with investors. I'm reloading like a crescent. Eating goldfish, stacking cheddar. This the roadmap, about to sketch it. 777s, we in. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, all organic, yeah, no Tesla. This is natural, we playing tennis. Moving fast, we progressing. Don't need insurance, I'ma just need you to slow down. Whoa, whoa. I might disappear out in Tokyo. I might go too deep like the ocean flow. I might be up your head like I'm King Kong. I might get ahead of myself, tree trunk. I might get ahead of myself, genius. I might get ahead of myself, Vietnam. Whoa, 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 slow down. Yeah, I just wet it. So impressive, yeah. It's like an entrance, yeah. When I exit, yeah. I got a fresh fit, yeah. Swag on Justin, yeah. Got the defense, yeah. Always adjusting, yeah. Like I'm Randy, yeah. On the Patriots, yeah. Got my dollars, yeah. Making real sense, yeah. Got my collar, yeah. It's on 3-6, yeah. That means it's pop, yeah. Now we tweaking, yeah. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, all organic, no Tesla. This is natural, playing tennis. Moving fast, we progressing. Don't need insurance, I'ma just need you to slow down, slow down. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Outside, all organic, no Tesla. This is natural, we playing tennis. Back and forth, we progressing. Don't need insurance, I'ma just need you to slow down, down, down. What's the score? Mic test 2-1-2. Oh, bro. I just sat cross-legged and did some coherence breath work, which, by the way, is the greatest app in the App Store right now. Download Coherence. Use code Applebaum, Applebaum, for a free 30-day trial. I just did some breath work right before this podcast here. Pretty stressed out last couple hours. Cortisol a little high. What's the best way to reduce cortisol and, reach a more calm place of mind? Well, do what I'm doing right now. Cross-legged in the grass. Doesn't have to be cross-legged. But grounding, bare skin in the grass, Coherence app, breath work, then go into meditation
Unfortunately, I don't have time to meditate right now because I'm coming to you live with this podcast in the field, as Anderson Cooper says, in the field right now. I'm in the field coming to you live. So I hope I don't have a second person to see if I'm centered on the camera. I'm going to assume I'm centered because I feel centered. All right, well, let's get into it. I don't have a lot of time before the sun sets. But yeah, you should download Coherence and use my code because I have a sponsor coming in the episode in a sec here. But you should do that because, dude, makes all the difference. Like, you'll feel it in like 5 minutes. I do the Wim Hof technique. Bro, I was stressed before I started doing that. I was really stressed. You want to know what I was stressed about? Printer. But guys, this piece of paper I got in my hands came from my printer in my apartment. This is the first time ever, guys, in the Applebaum incident where I have a printer that's working in my apartment. It's my printer. I don't have to go to the store. Don't have to deal with the printer lady, the printer guy. The FedEx copy and print takes 15 minutes to print at the FedEx copy and print. Lady doesn't even know how to print at the FedEx copy and print. It's like, what do you mean? You don't know how to, like, you don't know how to... That's like going to the airport and being like, yeah, I want to buy an airplane ticket. And they're like, well, I don't know how to do it. You know, it's like, what do you mean? Anyways, let's focus. So yeah, I got my printer set up. I'm really happy about that. I'm really, really happy about that. So no more printer problems. It's funny. People hear me talk about that and be like, man, what is this guy's deal and his printer? It's like, does he not have other bigger fish to fry? Guys, it's interesting. We're all going through life at the same time, but through different lessons. You know what I mean? Like, I had a printer when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, whatever. It was perfectly set up. I had no problem. But as life went on, you know, whatever the circumstances were, I moved, lost my print, didn't have my printer anymore, then didn't have the time or effort or energy to set one up. You know, it is what it is. And then, you know, then I finally get it set up. So we're all going through different lessons at different times. And so it's important to have grace with each other. You don't have to have grace with me. I can handle it, whatever you throw at me. But I try to have grace with other people, especially when they're not really, you know, on the same wavelength as me. If you think about music, right? Music is such a amazing, fascinating thing. And like, I just made a song. Maybe you just heard it. You probably just listened to it, actually. And like, there's certain parts of that song or any song, one of your favorite songs, that it's just like so beautiful to you, right? And then you maybe go hang out with a friend, you plug in the aux and you're like, check this out, man. Isn't this so beautiful? And they may not really appreciate it. Or maybe they'll appreciate a different part of the song. In other words, life, you kind of have to learn to dance on your own and dance anyways. Jesus once said, forgive them for they do not know what they do wrong, or something along those lines. I don't know exactly what he said. I just got the Bible today for the first time. Literally, I'm reading it. I'm so excited to read it. Just picked up my Bible. I'm going to read all the Torah, all that stuff. I'm like the least educated person on religion, so I'm really excited to dive deep into it. I'm also going to interview a lot of religious leaders because it's such a fascinating topic to me, and I know nothing about it. So, excited to get into that, but I'm going to get into the script, guys. And yeah, here we go. Episode 29. Stupidity is a projected fallacy. I'm going to wait for this plane to... One second. Oh yeah, but by the way, why I was so stressed out about the printer, bro, what is up with printers these days? It took me like 2 hours to set it up. It's like downloading a terabyte onto your computer. It was like the most complicated. It's like, bro, I swear, sometimes the technology we have just is too much. Sometimes our devices are getting too smart. We don't need it to be any smarter It's just a printer. It's just supposed to print pages of paper, I don't need it to wash my dishes and solve my problems. I just need it to print some paper. Keep it simple. All right. Episode 29. Stupidity is a projected fallacy. Have faith and love in the greater good. For everyone you meet, for you never know who may need that last push, that last vote of confidence and approval to do that great thing which changes the world for the best. This perhaps is the greatest reason why I don't judge, why I never hold grudges or harbor hatred towards anyone that could end up saving someone I love. With their idea, their business, their way of thinking, loving, being. And maybe that someone could be me. In fact, that is precisely how you save yourself. Man, sometimes when I do these podcasts, I get super excited for certain topics. Like, I'm definitely passionate about all of them, but there's certain messages and certain things I love to talk about more than others. I think with passion comes more certainty too. Obviously, with everything I say, frankly, all of us say it is our beliefs. There are no hard facts of anything, but it is our beliefs, as I've talked about, which begin to shape the reality of our world. So it is our beliefs that we must choose wisely if we want to manifest a better world. Certain things we can say with a lot more certainty, like, my name is David. I can say that with a lot of certainty. Even something like, I'm the strongest man alive, I say and do my best to believe, although it may not necessarily be true. In some senses, though, it may be true. And if I hold this belief strong enough in my mind to allow it to grow and fester into my subconscious mind, then perhaps it will become true. These are what I call our self-beliefs or our identity beliefs, which are also very important in shaping our lives in the world. But when it comes to our scientific beliefs and perhaps our philosophical beliefs, in other words, our thoughts on how to make ourselves and others better and improve upon the world outside of ourselves, these are thoughts with many variables and so much information that it's really a lot more complex than my name is David or I am strong and handsome. But nonetheless, I think I get super passionate about certain topics because there are just certain philosophies I go over in my head in my spiritual development that I'm a lot more certain on and therefore a lot more passionate about. And I think that's what I try to bring you in this podcast. I do my best to gather the things in my spirit which I believe are beliefs that can and will make the world outside of us better despite the uphill battle, despite the complexity, despite the non-existent adoption. These things in my spirit, I just must say, that's my passion. That's my love. So excuse me if you disagree, but I don't really care because frankly, I care about you, your children, our world, a lot more than I care about what you think of me. And that has brought me peace. And right here to you today. So I'm excited for today. That's my point. For today's episode, I couldn't even meditate for more than 20 minutes. I normally do a 60-minute meditation, and then I write these episodes a couple hours after meditating. But this message was so strongly coming into the top of my mind that it was nearly impossible for me to meditate before I at least got the bones out of this on paper. So today I want to talk about a beautiful topic, and that is the topic of stupidity. I'm going to lay down here for a sec. If you really think about it, who invented the word stupidity? Of course, we did. We invent a lot of words, but more so, I want you to think about where the origin of that kind of a word came from. Did it come from someone who was understanding, patient, compassionate? Did it come from someone who was emotional or non-reactive? Did it come from someone who was putting themselves in another's shoes? Did it come from self-talk that was perhaps negatively directed inwards? Where did this word come from, and what does it truly mean? What is the validity of the word stupidity in your spirit? That is the topic of today's episode. I want to start today's show with something I'm going to be doing a lot more on this podcast, and that is relating the topics of spirituality I want to unpack to actual current events and public figures so we can more directly understand these topics and how they apply to our world today. It is never my intention to cast hatred or judgment on any public figures. It is my intention to simply illuminate deeper understandings in myself and others. So let's think about the concept of stupidity today And by the end, hopefully you won't think too highly of using this word in the future towards yourself and others. Or maybe you'll disagree with me, and if so, I'd love to know why in the comments or via direct message or email. I'm always open to feedback and readjusting my thoughts, so long as it is on topic and not bringing in other unrelated things to the discussion. Like, dude, you have brown hair, you stupid, whatever. A lot of times people think they're like talking about politics. They think they're talking about issues in our world, but they're actually just like name calling. It's kind of insane. And that's actually highly related to what I'm about to get into. So, guys, don't take this personally. If this offends you, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to say something cool. Okay, we got a lot of wind. We got to hold the papers down for a sec. All right. So, recently, we had a UFC event at the White House. Wow, super exciting stuff. I mean, what could be more, how do you say, barbaric? Archaic? No, actually, this is the future of humanity. Beating each other up on the world stage, essentially Coliseum style, is the peak of our existence. And this is why Joe Rogan says the aliens will visit us soon, because we have evolved to such a capacity of intellect that is inevitable that we are the most advanced civilization other than the aliens themselves. I'm being sarcastic, but I do want to bring attention to this event and to Joe Rogan and to our greater society for a second, and to what I just said and how that is actually sarcastically false or true or whatever. Just listen. All right. So first, I love Joe Rogan. I'm a huge fan. If you're watching this, Joe, and I listen to his show, or if you're, whoever you are, and you like Joe, I like Joe too. I listen to his show often, or if you hate him, doesn't really matter. I will add, I would love to be on his show one day, and I think his show provides a lot of value to the world. I've said this a few times on my podcast, Joe Rogan over corporate media, because long-form discussions beat out 30-second sound bites on a 5-minute debate segment on TV. One methodology is productive. It's a productive way of having a discussion. The other is completely unproductive and provokes fear, it provokes hatred, and a lot of unnecessary negativity. So Joe's show, just by the very format, the very open-minded nature of it, and Joe, of course, helps us out with his own open-minded personality and character, but the point is Joe's show is to talk about things that maybe make us uncomfortable, maybe push the envelope a little bit, right? So just because I love Joe Rogan doesn't mean I can't disagree with some of his thoughts and opinions, right? We've matured from this point, hopefully, where we can, love people and also disagree with them. I mean, think about your parents. Good Lord. Or your best friend, right? You don't agree with them on everything. In fact, you probably disagree with them on a good amount of things. This is like spiritual test number 1, holding two seemingly conflicting things in our heads at once, but allowing love to triumph over all of our actions ultimately. See, I can viciously, and I mean absolutely, utterly disagree with a belief that someone has and still love them, still wish the best for them, and still appreciate them. This is the elementary level test we all just simply have to pass and understand at this point in 2026. Otherwise, we are absolutely cooking ourselves, as we have been doing since the dawn of human civilization due to this exact misunderstanding. So this is the importance and cultural impact of Joe Rogan's show, which I undoubtedly appreciate, and how his influence has undoubtedly helped the world. Now we have 3-hour discussions where sometimes 2 to 3 or 4 people can sit, talk, agree, disagree, maybe even get upset, laugh hysterically, cry, all in the same show. And at the end of it, all we were doing was talking and expressing ourselves. But the point I'm about to make here is something very important and not about what I just said. So, back to stupidity and our addiction to this fallacy. So the point I want to make is Joe Rogan is a big UFC guy, right? He loves the sport for what it is, martial arts. He grew up doing martial arts. He loves talking about it. He loves the athletes. He's very passionate about it. And he's undoubtedly also financially tied to the brand and the sport. Whatever, it is what it is. Very similarly, actually, to my own passion for American football. I love football, guys. I love American football. I think it's one of the most beautiful sports there is in the sense of teamwork and just the way the game is set up. I grew up watching football, playing football. I love throwing the football, playing catch. I love fantasy football. I love athletes that play the sport. I mean, the athletes that play the sport. Tom Brady is my favorite athlete of all time. I love Randy Moss. I love Adrian Peterson so much. They were so fun to watch as a kid growing up in Minnesota and being a huge Vikings fan. Just hearing that horn on Sundays at noon while I was with my family or friends are some of the greatest memories I have, despite how bad the Vikings were often. I love almost everything about football except one thing that basically trumps everything else I love about it. The fact that the sport itself is violent to the point of causing immense damage physically, emotionally, and spiritually to the athletes. I even got a few concussions playing football in high school. I know what it's like personally to play at a decently high level, doing two-a-days, getting beat up, doing tackling drills, and in a sense, I can appreciate a lot of what the athletes go through. Although I can't relate to, the professional level and even the college level. I can't relate to playing the sport as a means to provide for my family. But my point is, I love something that I actually know is bad. Frankly, that's just the plain truth. Whether I like it, whether you like it, whether anyone likes it. The truth is, a bunch of dudes banging each other's head for 20 years for the cause of our entertainment just is obviously not the way forward for a variety of reasons. A lot of people actually talk about how football sort of has an expiration date, the sport itself, because of how dangerous it is. I'm not the first one to, come to the mic with that idea here. By the way, I saw a lot of people on TikTok say my mic kind of looks like a piece of meatloaf or meat or something, whatever they said, ribeye. Bro, this is Twiggy, and Twiggy doesn't like it when you call him, meatloaf. It's a beautiful twig. I've adopted him. I've taken him out of nature, so he's already traumatized enough. And, please just call him Twiggy. It's a piece of bark that perfectly has a nice little attachment, because I don't like putting these mics on my clothes, man. Like, that's kind of weird. A lot of you guys have these mics on your clothes. That's kind of weird. I mean, do your thing, but I don't know, man. I don't want this mic like on my freaking shirt. I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't want it like right on my shirt, bro. It's just kind of weird. Anyways, all right. So, where was I? It's sort of like, drinking alcohol. So I'm talking about football and how it's not the future. It's sort of like, drinking alcohol is fun, but is it really good for me to do this every single day? Is it sustainable towards a life which will fill me up with fulfillment, gratitude, and all the things I desire? We may enjoy certain things, but that doesn't mean they should be things we carry into the future. You could make the same case for UFC and boxing. Honestly, even more so for UFC and boxing, considering how truly dangerous fighting can be for the physical body of the fighter. Martial arts at this level, in a cage with little rules, and basically at certain points the fighters unloading dozens and dozens of punches on each other's heads to the point of extreme brain damage, face alteration, and essentially nobody wants to say it, but life alteration due to the extreme brain damage. This is obviously well documented, and this is obvious to anyone who's paying attention. It's obvious even to Joe Rogan himself. He talks about this himself. And this is obviously the truth. And it is the sad truth. That is the key point. It is the sad truth. All for what? Our entertainment? Are you kidding me? We are destroying each other's bodies by playing these sports where thousands of people participate and millions, perhaps even close to 500 million or even 1 billion people participate in the watching of destroying our bodies and literally physically manifesting the action of violence towards each other for entertainment. Let me just say that again. We are literally participating on essentially a global scale in watching each other slowly kill each other for our entertainment. So, don't worry, I'm getting there. Now, I'm going to pause, and I want to bring in a very related point to this discussion. And that is an opinion Joe Rogan carries with him in many podcasts. Joe Rogan, who I love, remember I love Joe Rogan. He loves Joe Rogan. He doesn't love me, but you know what he loves? He loves to talk. Maybe he does love me. I love you too, Joe. Maybe should we kiss? Bro, if we ever do a podcast, I'll kiss you. I'll kiss you, Joe. I actually probably won't kiss you. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not kissing you. Joe carries this thing that he loves to talk about. I swear, every Joe Rogan podcast, he brings this up. He loves to talk about what? Fill in the blank. He loves to talk about the aliens, guys. When will the aliens visit? Where are they? What will they look like? Do we have evidence already of them, right? I wonder what the government knows. All that kind of stuff. I wonder what you know, Joe. Why don't you tell us what you know, Joe? He basically does every single episode. Anyways, I feel like a lot of these Joe episodes are all about aliens. And of course, who can blame him? That's fun stuff. That's entertaining. It actually doesn't really cause the harm the other stuff does. But one of his main opinions, guys, think about this. I want you to think about this really deeply. One of his main opinions about aliens is that the aliens won't visit us, right? Because they would look at us as idiots, right? They would be light years ahead of us and basically look at us as ants, a lowly intelligent species that wouldn't even be worth their time to understand and visit. He says this every 30 minutes of his show. I'm being sarcastic, but he says this a lot. But then why, you have to ask why, then does Joe say this? Or you can answer it yourself. But he answers, I believe, and I'm paraphrasing, usually follows this up with something along the lines of the fact that we are tribal to a point of our own detriment. Essentially, if you look at politics too, that's something he always kind of loves to talk about, how people even all the corruption with certain budgets in people basically scamming, having fraud, and then people being like, well, it was the other party, so I don't care because it's the other party who I'm against. And then he'll throw in a comment oh, and this is why the aliens won't visit us. So, or he'll say something along the lines of the fact that we are constantly at war, killing each other, extremely tribal, participating in violence, hurting each other, fighting with each other, unable to get along. What does this sound like? I don't know. Let's keep unpacking. Yet, we are glorifying. Well, I'm going to tell you right now in the script here. We are glorifying and manifesting these exact principles on a literal stage for our entertainment. Think about that. This is the crux of it, Joe. That is brilliant. This is the hypocrisy of our world. Now, this is one of the most important points I could ever utter out of my mouth. So, shut off the video right now. I'm just going to repeat the logical steps I just took because it bears repeating. The reason Joe Rogan thinks the aliens won't visit us is because we are too stupid, because we are constantly at war with each other, we are constantly violent and tribal to a point of actual stupidity. It is not our technological advancement which makes us not worth visiting or stupid. It is not our desire to grow and become more advanced which makes us stupid. It is not our ingenuity and constant evolution which makes us stupid. It is not our ability to work together which makes us stupid. It is the opposite. It is our inability to work together, which is what makes us stupid. And what makes us stupid when we alien eye view ourselves. In other words, when we bird's eye view ourselves. In other words, examine ourselves from a higher spiritual standpoint. What I am telling you, and what Joe is telling you very indirectly, is the same thing. And that is the only thing that makes us stupid. And the only stupid action we can possibly take is the violence towards each other, war with each other, tribalism, hatred. Therefore, if we understand this, then we reverse engineer actual intelligence. What we find is that what actually makes us intelligent would be then the opposite of this. It would be compassion and cooperation. What would make us intelligent would be working together in synergy towards beauty. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Applebaum Incident Podcast. I really appreciate it. Wherever you are in the world, it means the world to me. I just want to say a quick word for our sponsor here today, which is the app called Coherence. Guys, I'm going to put a graphic on the screen right now to tell you and show you how important breathwork is. Most people don't realize this. So as you can see, the slower and more controlled you breathe, the longer you will live. That is just biology 101. That is just how species and organisms work. If you can control your breath, you will be healthier and you will live longer. I mean, just think about someone who climbs a few flights of stairs and they're out of breath. You can just see it through their energy that they're out of shape, that they're unhealthy just because they're breathing really heavily. So if you can slow down your breath even while you're working out, things like that, you're going to be healthier. So how do you engage that breath work muscle? How do you engage that breath and extend your life and slow down your breath? Well, the easiest way to do it is through breath work. Well, the problem with breath work is that there's these ancient yogi practices, thousands-year-old practices. No one knows how to do them. It's intimidating. You never know if you're doing it right. And it's just hard to do it for 5 to 10 minutes straight and know whether you're doing it right. Coherence, this wonderful breathwork app on your phone, solves all those problems. You just download the app, put it on right away. You can start doing an ancient yogi breathwork practice in the span of 30 seconds. You say, whoa, I don't know how to do it. Look at the screen right now. This is how you do it. So as you can see, all you have to do is follow along to a visual and auditory cue of how to, when to inhale, when to exhale, when to hold, to do various things, whether you want to focus more, whether you want to do a breathwork exercise before you sleep, whether you want to do the vortex pattern, the Wim Hof pattern, all these things. I do the Wim Hof pattern every day. I do the sleep pattern also almost every night. I found when I do the sleep pattern, I try to actually sync up the timing of the sleep pattern so I don't have to look at my phone. But it's hard. Again, when you're not looking at your phone, when you don't have a cue, that's what this app solves. But I try to remember how it feels and do it before I sleep. And dude, my sleep has been so much better. I wake up more refreshed. I would sleep 8-9 hours and I wasn't waking up refreshed. I'm like, what's going on? I started doing 10 minutes of breath work before I went to bed. And as I was going to bed, this pattern that I learned on this app, and I wake up more refreshed after just a couple weeks of doing it. It's amazing. So breath work extends your life, makes you calmer, helps you sleep. I mean, why are we not teaching this in schools? And, sometimes the things we're looking for, the magic pill we're looking for is right under our pillow. Literally, it's just right under us. It's just right there in front of us. Of course, controlling your breath is one of the most foundational pillars you can have in your life for your mental health, for your spiritual health, and for your physical health. So, download the Coherence app in the App Store right now. Use code Applebaum, that's APPLEBAUM, for a free 30-day trial of Coherence. No strings attached, cancel at any time. I love you so much. Back to the show. Even if we didn't have the most advanced spaceships and technologies, if we actually were at peace, we actually didn't fight with each other, weren't at war, weren't killing each other over silly, meaningless things, and we instead worked together in everything we did, and all we invented, and all of our progress, we were like one giant ant colony towards beauty, we can then start to see that this is truly all we would need to be considered intelligent by our own standards of what the aliens would think. See, intelligence is not this thing that only a certain amount of people have. Many psychologists and philosophers would point and agree and understand intelligence rather as an array of various areas of strength. Specifically, some people are extremely artistic. Some people are extremely articulate. Some people are extremely emotionally sensitive. Some people are extremely mathematical or scientific. Some people are extremely social. Some people are extremely athletic. Some people are great teachers. Some are great healers. Some are great mothers. Some are great fathers. Some are great authors. Some are great storytellers. Some are great cooks. Some are great farmers. Some are great gardeners. Some are great herbalists. Some are great chemists. Some are great leaders. Some are great business people. Some are great inventors. Some are great musicians. Some are great painters. Some are great. You get the point. I could keep going. In other words, intelligence is actually infinitely possible and beautiful within humanity by our own definition of the word, in our own conclusions of the word. Intelligence, in other words, is you. Yes. Hi. I'm waving at the camera if you're listening to the audio. How you doing? You're smart. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I just want to take a moment to say that. The only thing that makes you unintelligent or stupid is your own decision to not realize this. Firstly, and then secondly, to cast this lack of a personal realization onto others in the form of calling them stupid and essentially destroying any chance of cooperation, compassion, synergy, and love that the world needs in order to become a beautiful society in which the aliens would obviously marvel at. I mean, we are much more advanced than ants, right? But even we can see the beauty in nature all around us. When we just look at the cooperation and synergy of a beehive or an anthill, we marvel at their ability to communicate, despite us not understanding how they do it. We marvel at the simplicity of the honey the bees produce. See, when we bird's eye view things, we understand what makes us beautiful. In other words, when we think of the aliens in all these philosophical Joe Rogan conversations, what we're actually thinking about isn't necessarily something so foreign to us. It is actually our higher selves, our higher spirits. It is our higher path. Ironically, Joe Rogan, a beautiful genius of a man, is also a walking contradiction, as we all are at times, and as we all are tasked with of unraveling in our spiritual existence, right? Your task is to unravel yourself, to not be a contradiction to yourself, to not betray yourself, to become the law that you are. The irony is when we get pulled over or go to jail, we are actually just betraying ourselves, betraying our potentiality towards God or good. See, on one hand, he calls us stupid. On the other hand, he props up a sport which is a proponent of the very ugliest nature of ourselves. And maybe instead of the word ugly, you could use dumb, stupid, violence, and fighting. Even if these fights are done with love in the end for the sport, that doesn't really matter. See, I know it's the first thing that, oh, but dude, these guys love each other, still hug. It's just a sport. It's just for entertainment. That doesn't really matter. Guys, what do they represent? That's what matters. What are we feeding our spirits in our lives? What are we having for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner? Pick up soccer. Pick up baseball, man. How hard is it for some of these fighters to just, all right, man, let's just go play baseball or something, cricket, something, man, kickball. Why isn't, dude, kickball should be bigger, bro. Kickball should be bigger. I mean, bro, I'd much rather watch some kickball. Bro, if we had some dope fields, you hit it out into the marsh right here. Come on. Let's watch some kickball, man. See, how many people are watching and participating in these fights? How many young people does it influence to want to fight and be fighters and fight others in the streets? Because, wow, what a good reason to create more division and violence. I'm being sarcastic. There is no valid reason for any of this. If we are to evolve, if we are to engage our intelligence further, we must engage our empathy, our compassion, and our cooperation at all costs. This is our next step in evolution. And I don't care how small it may seem to pick on the UFC. Brothers and sisters, we are at war with each other all around the world for literally no reason. That is the epitome of what? Stupidity. There we go. We are killing each other for literally no reason from a higher vantage point. That's what makes us stupid in our own eyes. What do the aliens think? Oh, well, we come to the conclusions of what the aliens think. We don't know what the aliens think, but we come to a conclusion based on what the aliens think. And the conclusion is we are ugly because of one thing, the only thing that makes us ugly, our inability to work together. That's why the aliens don't visit us. That's our own answer. We have our own answer. All we need to do is just turn in the assignment, bro. It's like you did your homework, just bring it to the teacher. The question then becomes, how do we then solidify ourselves towards more beauty? Well, turn in the assignment. We actually stop contradicting ourselves. It's like, okay, I want to lose weight, I want to be healthy, but every day I go to McDonald's and I never work out. That's literally our culture in a nutshell. Oh, we want to make the world a better place with less violence, less crimes, less hatred. Meanwhile, let's glorify and distract ourselves with the physical representation of the very things we want less of. Let's go get the popcorn and go to the very thing we want to stop. It's nonsense. It makes about as much sense as wanting a girlfriend and going to the gay 90s bar. I would argue in Joe's case, and frankly all of our cases, it would start with realizing these violent things we use for entertainment, or perhaps to a more global scale, the capitalization of war and fear and negativity we have in our media. Or for some, making money but not providing value for the earned money just to provide for our families. Are all these kinds of bird's eye view realizations which we all come to and have to meet face to face to ascend our higher spirituality. When we realize all we actually want is to find peace within ourselves and the world around us. When we come to this ultimate realization, we will all come to, and then we take the actions which are congruent with this. Then we actually will begin building a world the aliens, or perhaps ourselves, even would call beautiful. But dude, it's just a little fighting match. It's just for our entertainment. Guys, these fighters' lives are ruined. They have extreme brain damage. They can't talk. They end up beating the crap out of everyone they are having in a relationship. They end up, beating the crap out of their girlfriend, beating the crap out of their kids. They got brain damage, bro, up the wazoo. You're coping. You are smoking that copium, brother. All of you. Every last one of you. Every single last one of you is smoking the copium about this entertainment stuff. Bro, there's a billion things we can find to be entertaining that do not, go watch a movie. Do you know how many movies there are? I can't even contemplate. The number's probably in the trillions. No, it's not in the trillions. But dude, we have so many movies, bro. We have so many different sports. We don't need to be fighting each other for entertainment. It's damaging to the athletes. It's also damaging to what we allow to be acceptable. Because guys, at the end of the day, we are allowing fighting to be acceptable. We are allowing war to be acceptable. It's a norm in this world. Yet it's the number one thing we want to always stop. We got to stop these wars, man. We got to stop fighting. But we allow it to happen because of our own hatred and spiritual damage, which I will get to. If we continue to metaphorically go to McDonald's every day and then look in the mirror at our obesity, so to speak, spiritually, and then wonder why the world is messed up, we are really exhibiting the only stupidity which is real. A counteract to ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot. What makes us intelligent is knowing things and then taking the things we know and removing the continuation of shooting ourselves in the foot. It's the same thing in your life every single day. That's why you read books. That's why you take the shorter way home from work. Oh, this is shorter. Oh, this is better. I'm going to do that. Fool me once, who cares? Fool me twice, I'm a fool. Fool me 3 times, forget about it. I don't know the actual expression. That's not the actual expression. I don't have the internet right now, nor do I care, because you get the point. Now, let me conclude this podcast with the final piece to the puzzle of stupidity. You may now be thinking, well, what about people who are actually stupid, David? I'm telling you, the other day, I met someone at the grocery store, and they were stupid, man. I promise you, they were stupid. You're still not hearing me. The only thing that is actually stupid is thinking you are stupid. And then also thinking others are stupid. And thinking stupidity is a real thing. Or worse than, which then becomes the catalyst to the only stupid action we can take as humans. And that is the active participation in the dysregulation of synergy. The active participation in the dysregulation of cooperative advancement. There is a reason that chimpanzees, who we evolved from, can only cooperate in groups of 50. 50 chimps. That's the limit. Anymore. And then they become violent. Start to wage wars and takeovers. But us, we have corporations of thousands of people working towards one goal. However, in those corporations, we obviously have small groups of people who don't like each other and may even try to sabotage each other. But imagine if we didn't. Imagine if we were to understand exactly what I'm telling you right now. That what makes us unevolved, that which is what is holding us back from being so unrecognizable from chimps, we are ascending towards alien level status of intelligence from our own vantage point, is literally the very cooperation that I speak of, the very love, the very compassion, the very empathy. You need others. You are not a self-sufficient machine. You will always rely upon others. You are never alone. You never will be. Even beyond this human experience, there's always going to be others with you. Whether it's God, spirits, you are always relying on others. This is a core realization you must internalize. And then when you do, you will realize that your emotional tone, your spiritual tone, your decisions on how you interact and deal with others will change because you will realize you need them. You will realize the only thing that is holding you back from heaven is yourself. You will realize the only thing that is holding you back from an internal and an external heaven is your very thoughts on the fellow spiritual collective. No matter the race, the gender, the height, size, skin tone, preference in condiments, preference in music, preference in how they talk, how they walk, fast or slow. What if your entire goal, actually, and your entire realization in this life was to figure out how to find peace within yourself, so much so that you found peace in others everywhere you went? When you need someone, right? Let's say you need your child who's 10 years old to help you assemble a piece of furniture. How helpful will it be to then, while you're going through the instruction manual with your child, how helpful will it be to then call them stupid? Hey, stupid, help me assemble this couch. Is that ever going to help you get the desired result? Even if you just thought of it. How am I ever going to get this done with this stupid child if you just had that thought? This stupid child. No. That is literally the least helpful thing you could possibly do. Nor is it even factual. See, the child at 10 years old has never assembled any furniture. And even if they have, perhaps they haven't assembled this particular piece of furniture for the first time. This is likely their first rodeo helping mom or dad assemble a couch. Therefore, what the child has is not stupidity. Rather, the child has ignorance. So again, your second point that you had cocked and loaded there, ready to pounce on me. David, I swear, I know the stupidest people ever. They're all so dumb. I hate them. Brother and sister, they just haven't assembled the couch. They just haven't learned how to cook a steak, how to ride a bike, how to swim, how to write, how to optimize relational satisfaction, how to have faith, how to appreciate different cultures, whatever it may be. They are ignorant to it, not blind to it in perpetuity. No human is born blind to the very nature of nature itself, which is growth. Otherwise, they wouldn't be alive. Everything that is alive is designed to grow, reproduce. That's the definition of life. See, this goes back to the point I made on one of my first podcasts, which is put two people in a room for thousands of hours who apparently disagree on thousands of things. Force them to talk about these things in a civil way. In other words, no name calling, no violence, just life experiences of why they like certain things and do certain things. And what will happen eventually is a mutual understanding, even if it is a disagreement. Think about that. This is the second most important point of today's show. Stupidity is not real. Rather, ignorance is real. Hatred isn't even real. Emotional and spiritual damage, trauma, and dysregulation are real. And actually, these two things are very related. All of us have infinite potential, infinite capacity, infinite beauty. What we have in a finite amount is rather knowledge, right? You were not born with the understanding of how to tie your shoes. You actually learned how to tie your shoes at one point when you were like 4 or 5 or 6 or whenever it was. Remember the first time you learned to tie your shoes? It was actually probably pretty intimidating. I remember, for me it was. I was even afraid to try it. I was like, bro, I'm not going to get this. I'm nervous. Now I don't even think about it. It's funny. Literally, my friend, this actually happened the other day. He asked me, how do you tie your shoe? He was tying his shoes. And he's like, important question here. How do you tie your shoes? Do you do the 2 loops or the line across? Or I forget what he said exactly. I literally forgot what he said. I was like, dude, I don't even know how I tie my shoes. I was like, bro, I don't even know how I tie my own shoes. I don't even think about, I don't even think about it. I just rip it. Uh-oh, gotta get this piece of paper before it flies away. I just rip it. But when the first time I ever tied my shoes, I was so intimidated. I thought there was something wrong with me. How could these other kids do this so easily? Then when I got it down, I felt accomplished. Now I don't even know how to do it. It's just automatic. This is ignorance. I simply just didn't know how. My ignorance also on how easy some things would become once I just simply tried them. If this is true in my own life, how could it not be true in others? Nobody is born knowing how to ride a bike. Even the most gifted tennis player is not born with the knowledge of how to hit the best backhand or serve. Our ignorance has so many levels. Our stupidity is only present when we ironically misunderstand our own brilliance and think ignorance is stupidity. When you try a diet that was actually making you unhealthy and you put your all into that diet for 3 to 5 years, yet over time you discover new scientific evidence as well as your own blood work to determine it was actually making you more unhealthy, it is not your stupidity, it is your ignorance. When we believe we have to go into careers that harm ourselves and others just to make money, when we could have actually gone into something more peaceful for both ourselves and the world, this isn't stupidity, this is ignorance. When we believe stupidity is real and inherent in everyone, this isn't stupidity, it is our own ignorance. When we believe we have to kill people, hurt them, for revenge, for genetic reasons, for they are weak and we are superior, this isn't stupidity. This is ignorance on spiritual understandings and spiritual damage and how to heal ourselves and who we truly are in our purest forms, in our truest forms, which is oneness, which is love, right? When we never believe we are the problem and we don't need to heal, and it is only others who need to heal, this isn't stupidity, this is ignorance. When we believe our worth is in how much money we have, or our status, or our looks, or we need to be on medications, which actually may be making us sicker, or we need to take vaccines, or we need to vote for this person, or we need to have a certain number of people like our Instagram posts, or whatever it is never stupidity, it is ignorance. When we have poisonous chemicals in our food and our water supply, and we don't think it's a big deal, this isn't stupidity. It is ignorance. When we have cell phone towers and power plants next to our homes and our residences, this isn't stupidity. This is ignorance. When we understand the extent of things, we gain knowledge and erode our ignorance. And when we understand and erode our ignorance, it is then up to us to correct these things, take proper action, and correct course. If we, however, understand things and don't evolve towards these understandings, then, well, we aren't being that wise, are we? It is as simple as that. If our population is perfectly educated or near perfectly educated from our teachers and our society and our government and our communities and our parents, we lose much of our ignorance. Ignorance, then, folks. Drum roll, please. Ignorance, folks, is the real culprit of what we think of as stupidity. But is actually just poor decisions based on a lack of knowledge. See, it isn't stupidity to think we have to know everything as experts and make false claims just to make money. It is ignorance to our higher truths in spirituality. Again, just to crystallize the point, how can you blame a child for not knowing something and call them stupid and halt and make it harder for them to work with you in cooperation towards greater heights? You are missing these crucial understandings in this episode I just laid out for you. So here's the main finding here, the ultimate point. These 2 points I made in this episode actually work together in tandem. When both understandings are deeply met and truly crystallized, then we begin to build the world in which the aliens, or our higher selves, our higher spirituality and concept of ourselves, maybe even God, him or herself, would appreciate and approve of. But when we begin to think stupidity exists rather than ignorance, when we begin to think intelligence is centralized on certain things and not others, then we begin to divide our civilization into chaos, dysregulation, misunderstandings, resulting in violence and wars, and frankly, the only thing that makes us look ugly and stupid in the first place. This results in us propping up the very things which we don't understand are the very thing which actually makes us intelligent, even in our own eyes. Hatred, violence, and war. That's what we end up propping up. I'm done. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah. Let me know what you think. The comments, all that stuff. I'm gonna... it's 9:08. All right. 9:08 LA time. Back in the lab. All right. Is that the actual time that Kanye said in 30 hours? What's the actual time? I'm just ordering sushi right now because I've been working hard all week, cooking all week. I want to order out. I don't really need to keep this part, but I'm going to keep it because why not? What do I want? So yeah, guys, I'm going to figure out what I want. I already know what I want. I'm just going to get some like sushi rolls. Very insightful. Very stupid, you could say. So guys, yeah, I hope you, okay, carry out, yep, ASAP. 2 salmon rolls. 3 salmon rolls. So I hope you guys, got something out of that. You learned something. I really appreciate you for listening to this podcast. It means the world to me. All right, we're good. We're good. Yeah, so much love to you, your family. All right, so the main point of today's episode, I'm going to go off script. I'm going to maybe start doing this. Maybe I won't, but I kind of just feel like summarizing this episode. Let me just get this order in so it's cooking, then I will, it's almost done here, guys. This is like the bonus content. This is like the credits of the album. This is like the real ones are back here on the bonus section. Trying to do two things at once. Special instructions. No, I don't need any of that. All right, we're good. Custom tip. It's a takeout order. I don't really want to tip. Maybe one day. So yeah. Point of today's episode, guys. Love is the answer, but more so, the only thing that is stupid is things which are counterproductive. Do you want to live in a better world? All of us want to live in a better world. All of us want more beauty, cheaper housing, whatever it is, better schools, better food, better healthcare, better systems, right? What is going to get us better systems, better healthcare, better food? Is it calling everyone you know and their mother stupid? Blaming everyone for all the problems? Oh, well, they're stupid because they think they like ketchup. Of course, we can't get anything done in this world because this senator likes ketchup. This senator likes mustard on his burger. We're not going to get anything done. How could we ever have a better world when this moron likes mayo? I mean, it's as simple as, I always use condiments because it's literally as meaningless as condiments. Like we need to start to understand disagreements with each other as meaningless. Because ultimately, most of them are meaningless. There's very few disagreements that are meaningful. We don't need to put so much weight on disagreements between each other. Like, because if you think about it, bro, everyone got dressed today. Did everyone wear the same thing that you picked out? No, almost no one did. Literally, there's billions of people. Probably one other person in the world is wearing the exact same outfit, socks to hat, that you're wearing. Maybe it's 10 people. And there's 8 billion. Difference is inherent in the human experience. It's always going to be. We have to learn how to work with each other. And when we come to the table, we have to focus on the actual issues instead of having all these roadblocks up. It's like someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, right? Or wants to have a great business or do something amazing in their life. Yet they have all these roadblocks. Oh, well, I'm afraid of failure. Well, I don't have enough money. Well, blah, 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 blah. They got a million different roadblocks. That's us in a nutshell in a society. We have a million different roadblocks that are self-limiting, imposed beliefs. And frankly, almost all of them come down to thinking we're all stupid and to thinking other people are stupid. And so how could we ever have a better world with all these idiots? Everyone's you can't fix stupidity. That's people's favorite quote of all time. You can't fix stupid. All right, well, if we can't fix stupid, we might as well just watch Netflix all day and goon all night long, because this world isn't getting better. No, man. This world can easily improve. Easily. Quite easily. We just have to get rid of all these limiting beliefs about how everything is so hard and so impossible. And it starts with today's episode. It starts with stopping to think others are stupid, and then allowing that belief to fester into violence, to fester into hatred, to fester into wars. Why did I bring in the UFC? Why did I bring holy moly, man, that's a wild cat. That was really crazy. I just saw an orange cat run into the bushes here, and it was chasing after what looked like a rabbit. Probably it's lunch or dinner. It's getting dark out. It's a wild orange cat. Someone is looking for their orange cat out here. What was I saying? So, yeah. We just got to stop putting self-limiting beliefs on ourselves. And it starts, and so why did I bring in the UFC and why did I bring in football? Because these things represent the very thing which makes us stupid, which is fighting with each other. It's not necessarily that UFC is the problem, right? If we stopped all the wars in the world, all the violence, all the hatred, and we still had the UFC, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Oh, that poor orange cat. That's really sad, bro. Should I adopt him? Bro, maybe I should adopt this cat. I'm going to finish up. I'm going to approach this cat. I'm going to approach this cat. Because I've been wanting a cat. But it's sad to see a cat out here all alone. It's kind of looking at me. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of the extent of it. Hey, kitty, cat. Oh, there's a random guy walking. He probably thinks I'm crazy. I don't really care. Oh, that cat's walking away. Anyways, guys, I love you. Yeah, so is the UFC itself a problem? I would still say yes, it is. Because it is a representation of everything. Whoa! Big bug just flew on my face. Everything it is, we need to stop in this world. And that is hatred, violence, fighting each other, picking fights, etc. I love you. Have an amazing rest of your... and then it's just a microcosm of, like, if these fights continue, like, let's just say a lot of people want to pick up fighting now because the UFC is popular, right? And they do. Then it trickles, bro. It trickles into the streets, trickles into the culture. And then what are we doing? We're just doing the same thing, which makes us unevolved in the first place. Our inability to not cooperate. Or cooperate, rather. Inability to cooperate. So yeah, think about that. If you disagree, I'd love to know why. If you agree, I'd love to know why. If you have any thoughts whatsoever, let me know in the YouTube. I love you so much. Have an amazing week. I'll see you next time. I'm going to go pick up my sushi and maybe this orange cat because he's right there. My man. All right, peace.